I'm Nicole Ann Balili Celeste from Betheled 4A. Question number 1. Compare the history of food technology to the existing food technology. The history of food science and technology when humans transitioned from nomads to farmers. This led to practices such as growing fruits, cattle domestication, and agriculture, which helped our ancestors survive through difficult times. The growth of the human population and advancement in civilization lead to the first processed food due to a need for a longer shelf life. People needed to be able to store food for when it was less abundant. It also helped to make food safer. Early forms of processed food, such as bread and wine, were favorable because they lasted longer. As food production expanded, food safety was the key to preventing widespread illness among populations. We're lucky to have a relatively safe food supply today, but historically, only royalty had access to high quality food. For example, in Mexico, Montezuma's slaves ran distance of about 20,000 miles a day in order to bring him fresh fish. Nicholas Appert's food preservation methods was undoubtedly the invention that marked a turning point in the science of food, allowing for its further growth and industrialization. Appert is known as the father of canning, since he developed the first canning methods that successfully preserved food such as soup, vegetables, juices, and dairy products. The field, the field of food technology has been conducted for decades. In 1810, development of the canning process by Nicholas Appert was a decisive event. Canning had a major impact on food preservation techniques. Later, Louis Pasteur's research in 1864 on spoilage of wine and his de- description of how to avoid spoilage was an early attempt to food to put food technology on a scientific basis. Besides wine spoilage, Pasteurs conducted research on production of alcohol, vinegar, wines, beer, and souring of milk. He developed pasteurization, the process of treating milk to destroy disease-producing organisms. Pasteurization was a significant advance in ensuring microbiological safety of food. Food science and technology today. Food science and technology in the field as we know them today were marked with the birth of university programs focused on this area. Subjects such as engineering, chemistry, physics, and biology are all integrated into the food science and technology major and support the cultivation of food scientists. Food technology was initially used to serve military needs in the 20th century. World War exploration of space and the rising demand for varied products from consumers contributed to the growth of food technology. Products such as instant soup mix and ready-to-cook items including meals were developed, especially catering to needs of working women. Further, food industry was compelled to focus on nutritional concern. Food preferences and choices changed and people started incorporating into their diet food items or preparation from different regions and countries. The desire to have seasonal food all year round increased. Food technologists made effort to provide both safer and fresher food using new techniques. In the 21st century, food technologists are challenged to produce food suitable for health and other changing needs of consumers. Food technology has provided a vast variety of safe and convenient foods. In developing countries, this rapidly expanding and developing field has been helpful in improving food security and has opened avenues for employment at all levels. Question number 2. Research and summarize some current issues or problem about food technology. Key challenges faced by the food processing sector are gaps in supply chains infrastructure, which means inadequate primary processing, storage, and distribution facilities. The insufficient connection between production and processing, seasonality of operation, and low capacity utilizations. Institutional gaps in the supply chain, lack of focus on quality and safety standards, and not having enough of product development and innovation. Demand for retail, demand for items immediately available to eat or cook and safe processed food, and discontinuation of overdependence on cereal are some big opportunities for this sector. Another area receiving increasing research interest is food safety. The presence of chemical contaminants in the food chain. In addition, the emergence of new food pathogens, particularly viruses, as well as the re-emerging of known food pathogens, have captured considerable research attention. For example, alteration to diet pattern and nutrition affect microbial population with consequential effect on the immune system, disease, pathogens, and health. Question number 3. Discuss on how to address the current issues or problem about food technology. To address the emerging food and health issues, countries have issued national food, nutrition, and health guidelines and regulation. Unfortunately, in spite of this, many of these food and nutrition guideline goals remain unmet. An example is the United States Dietary Guidelines for Americans, issued first in 1980. Since then, 7 dietary guidelines had been issued, the latest release in 2010. The dietary guidelines contain dietary recommendation for Americans for balanced nutrition and optimal health. They include, for example, recommendation to reduce the intake of dietary sodium, cholesterol, saturated fat, and sugar, while increasing the consumption of whole grains, vegetables, and fruits, as well as low-fat dietary products. Yet, after 30 years, recommendation for sodium, saturated fats, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains remain unmet. A reduction in sodium intake remains particularly challenging due to the versatile role sodium chloride plays in food functionality, palatability, and health. The basic understanding of salt taste mechanism and the physiology of sodium homeostasis in humans continues to be an active area of research and has embedded advances in the development of optimal and versatile salt reduction technology tools for food products. On the other hand, effort to reduce fat and cholesterol intake had been more successful, with technologies having advanced sufficiently to develop products that meet both consumer taste and value expectation. However, this process took more than 20 years. Since processed food has immense export potential together with domestic demand, encouragement to it with proper marketing, latest technology, and steady flow of raw materials from the farmers meeting specific quality and standard at stable price lead to greater development of the agriculture sector. Linking agricultural production to the market by bringing together the farmers, processor, and retailer would substantially increase farmers' income. Food system innovation will be key to succeed, but they need to be guided by science-based target to avoid trade-off and rebound effect, said Professor Johan Rockstorm, co-author and director of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research and Processor in Earth System Science at the University of Potsdam. Now is the time to start scaling the great spectrum of existing sustainability food innovation and around the world, and learn by doing to rapidly establish what works and what doesn't. Important lesson learned from these findings. Guideline recommendation that precede food technology capability will face considerable challenges of meeting set goals, even if a technology is available. Time and research investment are needed to apply the technology to multiple food system and categories. The need to understand basic mechanism of food substance interaction is important to enable specific and widespread application of relevant technologies. Consumer acceptance of food is critical to the success of any set of recommendation guidelines. Sufficient time is needed to allow consumers to change their food and dietary behavior. Multidisciplinary experts from all sectors with, with research and application experience in food science and technology, nutrition, medicine, consumer, behavior, economics, and etc. should be part of the recommendation deliberation to ensure implementation and long-term compliance and success. That's all for today, and thank you.